You know that person who always has an excuse? Can't make it tonight. Maybe next weekend. Not feeling up to it? Something came up. Again, people assume they're flaky, antisocial, maybe even depressed. Maybe they just don't like you. But what if none of that is true? What if the real reason has nothing to do with any of that, and everything to do with how their mind actually works? If you're someone who genuinely looks forward to a quiet evening at home more than any party on the calendar, if Friday night in pajamas sounds better than Friday night in a crowd, welcome. This video was made for you. Today we're breaking down the psychology of people who love staying at home, the ones society calls boring, the ones science calls something else entirely. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand yourself in a way most people never will. Here's where most people get it wrong. They assume staying home is about avoiding the world, about being scared, about not having friends. It's not. It's about something much more fundamental, how your nervous system processes energy. Psychologists have a concept called optimal arousal theory. The idea is simple, but most people have never heard it explained properly. Every human being has a threshold, a specific level of stimulation where they feel most alive, most comfortable, most like themselves. Think of it like a volume dial inside your brain. For some people, that dial needs to be turned all the way up to feel good. Those are your extroverts. They need noise, movement, people, conversation, and a little chaos to feel fully switched on. A quiet room doesn't energize them. It makes them restless. But for a significant portion of the population, and this might be you, that same environment doesn't energize them at all. It drains them. Every conversation, every social obligation, every crowded room slowly pulls energy out of them like a slow leak in a tire. You can't always see it happening. You might even look like you're having fun. But underneath, the battery is going down. And home? Home is the only place where that energy actually refills. Not a little. Completely. It's not laziness. It's not fear. It's not antisocial behavior. It's just how their nervous system is built. And here's the thing about biology, you cannot argue with it. You cannot shame someone out of how their brain is wired any more than you can shame a left-handed person into writing with their right hand. It doesn't work. And it was never the right question to begin with. But there's more going on here than just introversion. Because not everyone who loves staying home is an introvert. There's a second layer to this that most psychology videos never talk about, and that layer is control. Think about what the outside world actually asks of you every single day. The traffic that doesn't care about your schedule, the noise you didn't choose, the strangers who need something from you, the small talk that costs energy but gives nothing back, the plans that change at the last minute, forcing you to adapt when you were already prepared. There is a constant low-level tension that comes from navigating all of that. Most people don't even notice it anymore because they've gotten used to carrying it. But some people never stop noticing. For them, every unpredictable element in their environment is a small tax on their nervous system. And it adds up. But at home, you are the architect of your own environment. You control the lighting. You control the noise level. You decide the temperature, the sounds, the people, the energy. For people with high sensitivity or anxiety, that control isn't a lifestyle preference. It's a necessity. Their nervous system is calibrated so finely that environments with too many unpredictable variables don't just feel uncomfortable, they feel genuinely overwhelming. Not dramatic, not exaggerated, genuinely overwhelming. Home removes all of that friction in one step. It's the only place where their mind can fully exhale. And when you find the place where your mind can finally exhale, you protect it. Now here's what the research actually says about people who prefer to be home, because this is where things get interesting. Studies on solitude and creativity consistently show that individuals who spend significant time alone by choice tend to score higher in creative thinking, self-awareness, and deep problem solving. Not lower, higher. The best ideas in history didn't come from crowded rooms and loud parties. They came from quiet spaces. Early mornings, late nights, the kind of stillness that most people run from. And there's a reason for that. When the noise of the world stops, your own thoughts finally get loud enough to hear. That's not isolation. That's incubation. Society spends enormous energy romanticizing being out there. The Instagram posts, the rooftop brunches, the live your best life culture that somehow decided the best life always involves other people watching you live it. But nobody talks about the person who spent Saturday exactly how they wanted, alone, comfortable, completely present, and felt genuinely full at the end of it. Not empty, not lonely, full. That's not a sad life. That is a deeply intentional one. Hit subscribe if you think you're this type, because there's a lot more psychology coming that's going to make you feel very understood. Now, there's something important we need to address, honestly, because not everyone who stays home is doing it from a place of peace. For some people, the four walls aren't a sanctuary. They're a hiding place. And there's a real difference between the two, even if they look the same from the outside. Social anxiety that makes leaving feel impossible, not just uncomfortable, impossible. Depression that quietly whispers, "What's the point?" every time you consider going out. Past experiences that made the outside world feel genuinely unsafe, and staying home became the only way to feel okay. For these people, home isn't where they go to recharge. It's where they go to disappear. And staying home isn't peace. It's avoidance wearing the mask of preference. So here's an honest question worth sitting with. Not a judgment, just a question. Do you stay home because it genuinely fills you up? Because it's where you feel most like yourself and you'd choose it even if going out was easy? Or do you stay home because leaving feels too heavy and the thought of facing the world creates a kind of dread that's hard to explain? One of those is self-knowledge. The other is something that deserves more care and attention than a YouTube video can give it. Only you know which one is actually true for you. But for those who truly love being home and you know exactly who you are, this is what your life actually looks like. The morning routine that belongs entirely to you and no one else. The specific corner of the couch that has your shape in it from years of being chosen. The way the light changes in your room in the late afternoon and you notice it every time because you're actually there to see it. The comfort show you've rewatched 4 times, not because you're lazy, but because it feels like visiting people who already understand you. The perfect cup of whatever you drink, made exactly how you like it, in silence. These aren't small things. People will tell you they're small things. They are not small. These are the details of a life built entirely around what actually matters to you, not what you're supposed to want, not what looks good from the outside. Psychologists call this low stimulation preference, and people who have it don't need the outer world to constantly entertain them because their inner world is rich enough on its own. You are not missing out. You are not boring. You are not broken. You are simply living on a frequency that most people are too distracted to tune into. Wired for depth over noise, for peace over performance, for presence over spectacle. Tell me in the comments, are you genuinely someone who loves staying home? Or do you think people like us are just making excuses for avoiding life? I want to know where you actually stand on this. And if you want the psychology that most people never hear about themselves, the kind that makes you stop mid-sentence and think, wait, that's actually me, the next video is going to hit you harder than this one did. Click it. You'll understand why.